Issue 38, a classic midlife crisis.
After working hard for 20 years, I have attained significant success in my field. Part of the reason was my husband's belief in my potential and his constant encouragement. Over the years, we celebrated my many promotions. But recently, my husband filed for divorce. My friends call it a classic midlife crisis. He just turned 40. However, I believe the real reason for the divorce is my success. Pop psychology experts have offered many glib explanations, but nothing can alleviate the pain I feel. I worked hard, became successful, and lost the man I love. Now I'm wondering if this is exclusively a male thing. I have never known a woman who divorced her husband because he became successful. What do you think about this? Should I have seen it coming and slowed down? I love my career, but I also love him. Success is cold comfort in an empty bed.
Comprehension. 1. How long did it take before he succeeded in her field? 2. How did her husband help her gain success? 3. Why does she think her husband filed for divorce? 4. What does she wonder about? 5. What does success mean to her?
Let's talk. 1. Are you for or against a wife having a career? 2. How would you feel if your wife made more money than you? What would you think about your husband if you made more money than he? 3. Would you help your wife with housework or childcare if she had a job outside the home? Should a man be expected to do so? 4. Do you think it is true that a wife with a job tends to disregard her husband? 5. What factors lead many men to go through a midlife crisis? 6. What's the difference between a crisis for a young person and one who is middle-aged?
Opinion samples. 1. This world is filled with women who are more successful than their husbands, and they are still married. There must have been other problems that she was not aware of. The wise wife knows how to cut down the glare of the spotlight and move her husband closer to center stage. I wonder if she made an effort to do this. If so, there should be no self-recrimination. He would have left anyway. Question: do you think women become conceited if they make a lot of money?
2. I don't understand her husband if there were no other problem except her successful career. Why should her success make him feel upset, jealous, or hurt? If he feels that way, it proves that he doesn't really love her. He needs to grow up. Question: some men become jealous of their wife's success while others welcome it. What's the main difference between these two kinds?
Issue 38, a classic midlife crisis.
Would you leave your wife just because she was more successful than you?
Of course not. I'd probably be too financially dependent on her to even think of leaving.
No, I'm being serious. Are male egos so fragile that they can't stand the idea of a woman being better than other men?
The world is full of insecure people, of both sexes. But I don't think this is really a gender issue as such. It's more of an economic one. Until recently, most women were not competing against men. They tended to stay home and take care of the children and the household.
But then why would a couple that have been married for many years break up just because the wife brought home most of the bacon? Don't you think this shows that the man has to feel superior all the time and can't stand being in a subordinate position?
Maybe, but perhaps the wife didn't spend enough time with her husband. Maybe she was working all the time, and he felt lonely and unfulfilled. Or they may have had other problems as well.
But then why would he leave her just as she was hitting the peak of her profession? Why wouldn't they have broken up long ago? Or why couldn't he continue to adjust longer if gender jealousy was not the major factor?
Gender jealousy? Whew! When I was growing up, we used to be taught that ambitious women wanted to be like men and do the same sorts of things that men did. We used Freud's expression, penis envy, to describe this situation. And now men are being accused of acting the same way, of being dissatisfied because they haven't been able to compete successfully against women. Things sure have changed.
So you do think that men may divorce their wives because they are too successful?
Not directly. I think either a husband or a wife wants to share a life with some other person and feels neglected if that person is never home because of work, or is still working all the time even when at home. A lot of middle-aged women divorce their husbands for that reason, just as he is reaching his maximum level of achievement. Not because of personal jealousy, but because of loneliness. Now the same phenomenon is beginning to occur in reverse. Some husbands feel left out of their wives' lives and want a more fulfilling existence. It's not because they are envious of their wife's success. It's because they don't feel like they are a meaningful part of it. That's all.
Questions. 1. What is the basis for the idea of gender jealousy? 2. What is an alternative explanation? 3. What do you think? Are most men too insecure in their own egos to be able to accept female domination easily? Give your reasons for your opinion.